Sitting in a cell month after month can do a lot to alter a person's take on the world. Even more so if the inmate is looking at a possible life sentence. And that's when Brett Schrauben had an epiphany, just days before his murder trial was to begin. He said he was finally willing to testify against Tom and Sandra, but he wanted out now. The deal had to be for time served or nothing at all. What did you think when you heard what he wanted in order to get his cooperation?
I thought it was outrageous, but it's not a perfect world. And the people who are likely to have some of the best, most detailed information about what takes place inside a conspiracy is a co-conspirator. We needed Brett Schrauben.
So what was his story?
The story was a pretty detailed and amazing story.
Schrauben described the whole affair on tape, laid it out in all its chilling detail. The anatomy of a murder. The conspiracy was launched, he said, with a phone call from Tom.
He told me that his mom would offer $50,000 to kill his dad.
Schrauben said he met with Sandra in a parking lot. She gave him a $5,000 deposit.
She wanted Jack dead, and she wanted it done at the house and to look like a robbery. She told me that she would leave for X amount of time, and that's when it would need to be done.
Schrauben said he hired his good friend T.J. Garrick, a local drifter, to be the getaway driver. And on the afternoon of August 13, 1998, while Sandra was out having her nails done, Schrauben and Garrick drove to the Jesse house to murder Jack.
I was already having cold feet on the way there, and by the time I was walking down the street, I was really having cold feet. I got in the house. I'm standing in the garage now, and I put on a rubber glove and reached inside the door, and I locked it and shut it. I was chicken. I couldn't do it. I went back to the car. I told TJ that the door was locked, so that way it wouldn't look like I chickened out. I called Tom, and I told Tom that the door was locked, and he said that he would call his mom and get back to me.
And according to Schrauben, Tom called back within minutes with a backup plan.
He told me that his mom was going to go out that night, and that it needed to happen tonight because his mom just can't take it anymore. And he said if we didn't do it tonight, that his mom was going to do it. When I told TJ what was said, I told him I didn't want to really do it. And he said that he would do it if I drove.
So they returned that night, about 9 o'clock. Schrauben said he dropped TJ off at the house, then drove around the neighborhood while TJ snuck inside and stabbed Jack Jesse to death.
We had walkie-talkies, and afterwards he called on the walkie when he was done, and he told me to pick him up. Make a U-turn and go back. He has a little blood on his legs. We looked for a place for him to clean himself up. I believe there's a Del Taco we found with an outside place for him to clean himself up.
The information that he provided, if we could corroborate what he said, would blow the case wide open.
T.J. Garrick was questioned and denied everything. Other than Schrauben's statement, there wasn't enough evidence to hold him, so he was allowed to walk. And investigators focused on building their case against Tom and Sandra by documenting money transfers, phone calls, air travel. So when you had all that together, what do you think?
I thought we were starting to put together a pretty good case.
Good enough that Murray had Tom and Sandra arrested. And in the summer of 2009, 11 years after the murder, the mother and son team went on trial for the murder of Jack Jesse.
Going to court, it was like going to my dad's funeral every day. I mean, it really was. You're around people that you know killed your dad. It was a ridiculous feeling. You can't even put it into words. Just soul-wrenching.
Schrauben testified against them. In court, it was argued Sandra had a variety of motives for killing Jack. She wanted his money before medical bills ate up their savings. And she couldn't bear being away from her son, Tom. Do you think the case had gone well?
I thought the case had gone extremely well.
Except, once again, that little ball came off the track. What happened?
Coming up, the story of a murder caught on tape.
He saw Jack over at my front window, and Jack came at him and threw the phone at him when he took